Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pokemon Theta Emerald Nuzlocke. In the last episode, I asked you guys which of these three Pokemon I should pick as my starter, and the consensus was almost unanimous, and I think 3 out of 4 people who voted decided they wanted Houndour. So we are going with Houndour. I am definitely very happy with that choice because fire types do tend to be pretty rare in just about every Pokemon game, and Houndour itself is actually a pretty uncommon Pokemon. So it is nice to use one. I have used a Houndour before once, I think, when I played through Pokemon Platinum. But I'm pretty sure in just about every other game, Houndour is not available until like the post-game or something like that. So it's not a Pokemon you get to see used very much. I do think it's ironic, though, that Houndoom was actually the Pokemon that ended our Nuzlocke last time. It was Karen's Houndoom in the Elite Four that killed Rose, our Lickitung, and that was our last Pokemon. So it is kind of ironic that the Pokemon we're going to be using is Houndour, the same Pokemon that ended our last Nuzlocke. But hey, so anyways, we got to come up with a nickname for this thing. It is a male Houndour. So I believe I have a good nickname for one of these. Probably not very creative, but you know, I've never been that great at coming up with the most creative nicknames. I think we are going to go with lowercase letters this time. So let's go with Cerberus, who is, if you don't know, the three-headed dog in Greek mythology, who was also known as the Hound of Hades, and he guarded the gates of Hades. So yeah, it is appropriate that Houndour is a dog and also a fire and dark type. Is definitely the most appropriate place to use that nickname. So anyways, we're heading up to the north to fight our rival for the first time. Not too worried about this fight. Our rival is going to have... I didn't actually modify the trainer battles, so our rival is going to have the default, whatever Pokemon she would have had. I don't remember if I replaced things type-wise. I don't remember if I replaced the fire type with the fire type and so on when I did the starter switch. So I believe she should have Mudkip, but I could be wrong there. I guess we'll just have to see. I suppose while we're going through this first route here, one thing I do want to mention, if you haven't watched my previous Nuzlocke, is the fact that I do cut out a lot of random battles. I think for the first episode I usually kind of leave a couple in, just because I'm kind of still talking about like the intro to the game kind of stuff, but yeah, I do cut out a lot of the random battles. I mostly just don't leave in trainer battles at all, because I feel like they're not really that interesting unless something actually interesting happens. And I cut out just about all random wild battles after the first episode, just to keep things interesting. I don't want to leave in all the random boring battles, and I like to keep the series flowing, so you know, something interesting happens every episode. We're not going to have an episode of just me battling a bunch of trainers over and over again, because I feel like that could get a little bit boring. So yeah, a lot of cutting and editing and all that kind of stuff, so that's all well and good if you enjoy that. So anyways, I think our rival will be at level 5. I think I want to encounter 1 or 2 more Pokemon, get myself up to level 6 just so I have an advantage, and then I might run back and heal. Ooh, and a Bellsprout. So one thing I have been thinking about doing, this wouldn't come into play for a little while yet, but I am thinking, since my last Nuzlocke, I had a team member, Russell the Weepinbell, who did not come to the Elite Four with me, but was on my team for most of the game, and I was kind of considering bringing her forward. I kind of got this idea from Tortimer the Grey, who's done quite his fair share of Nuzlockes on his channel, and he did something called a Hexathlon, which is basically a playthrough of all 6 of the generations that were currently out at that time. And he would bring forward a couple of Pokemon from his previous game every time he started a new one. And I'm definitely not planning on doing that exact thing. I don't plan on playing through all 6 generations. I mean, obviously I started with Generation 2, and now I'm on Generation 3. I'm not planning on playing them in order, or really having like doing every single generation or anything like that, but I am thinking it would be cool if every time I started a new Nuzlocke, because I'm definitely planning on doing quite a few of these, that I might bring forward a Pokemon from the previous game. In this case, I mean, since I lost, I guess I don't know if I really should or not. I guess you guys can weigh in the comments. I am thinking that if I brought forward Brussel the Weeping Bell, I don't want to bring forward a Bellsprout because that wouldn't really make sense, but at the same time, I don't want to have a Weeping Bell at this stage in the game because I feel like that would be a little bit overpowered because it would be an evolved Pokemon. Even if it was at an appropriate level, I think that'd be a little goofy. So I think if I did that, I would bring Brussel forward but not have her available until whenever we got to a point where we would have been able to evolve her anyway. And I meant to go heal up before the rival battle there, so we'd be topped off on health, but then we ended up running to another Wingull here, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and use a potion, even though I don't really like using potions this early in the game, but we did start out with, what was it, like $50,000? That's a lot more than you usually have at the beginning of the game. I hope I'm not accidentally in the most recent version of the game. I don't think I am. I guess we'll see when we enter this battle. But yeah, the most recent version of the game is definitely super difficult, so I want to make sure I'm not in that version. Okay, I think we're good, because I'm pretty sure the more difficult version is going to have Mudkip at level 7 rather than level 5. So yeah, I think we are okay. Just gonna get a couple bites off. I would assume this thing has Water Gun. I'm pretty sure the game changes so that all the starters have their earliest elemental move from the beginning, so I would think you would have Water Gun, unless maybe they got rid of that just to make it a little bit easier. I mean, it is a little unfair if, you know, because you can't catch any other Pokemon right now, and your rival's going to have a Pokemon that's good against your type, so it would be a bit unfair if they could pull out, you know, like a Mudkip with Water Gun and all you had was a Torchic, and you weren't even able to catch anything else, so yeah, now we're heading back down to the lab. Just a whole bunch of, you know, intro to the game kind of stuff. We got to do all the basic stuff and all that. So the other thing related to bringing a Pokemon from our previous playthrough forward is I feel like we do have to have some kind of penalty for doing that so that we don't just get an extra free Pokemon. I know what Tortimer does is that when he brings forward a Pokemon for his Hexathalock, that he gives up a random route for each of those. I guess we could probably do that. I mean, I don't want to rip off that idea, but at the same time, I was just thinking, you know, I mean, Brussel was a Bellsprout we caught on one of the first routes in the game in Silver version, and I mean, I feel like we never really got to see her live to her full potential, so it would be nice to bring her forward and hopefully be able to pick up a Leaf Stone in this game and finally have her evolve to her final form. And since she was a party member for the longest time until we replaced her in the very last episode, I feel like she was a party member. I mean, if we wiped at the Elite Four and lost literally every party member we had, and all we had in the PC was, say, like some random Rattatas and such that we never used, then I would, you know, not really bother bringing one of those forward, you know. And, like, I'm not going to go into, you know, I'm not going to put up a vote and say, do you want me to bring forward, you know, Brussel or, you know, Kraken the Tentacool, who sat in our box for most of the playthrough, you know. I mean, in this situation, it's pretty obvious which team member we would be bringing forward. I mean, you guys are welcome to weigh in on that in the comments below if you have any other ideas related to that. And I believe we do have Pokeballs right now, right? Let's see here. 10 Pokeballs. Very nice, very nice. Let's see if we can catch something on this route. I'm hoping for not a Poochyena, because we already have a Dark-type dog. I mean, Poochyena is... Ooh, it's a Starly. That's very nice. Poochyena is more of a physical Pokemon, whereas Houndour is more of a special Pokemon, but still, I think I'd prefer not to... Oh, you're kidding. Well, that was our first catch that we failed. So let's go ahead and head on up. Might as well stop and heal real quick. And I'm going to run back to the Pokemart as well and stock up on some more Pokeballs. We have all this money, so we might as well. We buy 10 Pokeballs. We also get a bonus Premier Ball, which is basically the exact same thing as a regular Pokeball. It just looks different, and I do like catching things in Premier Balls just because it's a little bit fancier. And there are antidotes, so we might as well stock up on those as well. And yeah, I guess we'll save the rest of that money for later. I don't know exactly what we need to spend it on. And we've got another catch up here. Hopefully, if we don't knock it out first. It's probably going to be a Wingull. I don't really want a Wingull, but it's... Oh, it's a Bidoof. I can deal with a Bidoof. I know a lot of people make fun of Bidoof because it's kind of a goofy looking Pokemon, but I can handle Bidoof if we don't knock it out. We knocked it out. Alright guys, well, this is going to be a Pokemon Theta Emerald Nuzlocke Houndour solo run. We might just have to throw a Pokeball next time we find something. Let's see here. Smog is 70 accuracy. That's really not very good. I want to keep Howl for the time being. Let's get rid of Leer. Because Howl could be useful. It's always nice to have a stat-up move. We could raise our attack and get some bites off if we need to do some sweeping. We definitely need to catch something before we get to Roxanne, because Cerberus is not going to do very well in a Rock-type gym. So let's give this one more shot. We need to find another party member. This is probably going to be a Rattata. We can deal with a Rattata, and I do apologize. It looks like there's some graphical glitches going on. That's going to be a result of probably the ROM hack. It probably has to do with the custom backgrounds, all that kind of stuff. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. Oh, and you're going to be a pain in the butt, aren't you? Let's see if we can get a Smog off, maybe, because it's not a stab move. We might be able to do just a little bit, just enough to knock it down into the yellow or the red, hopefully. I am kind of worried because I think at least one of these trainers coming up, I know in the default game, had a Marill, and a Marill could be a bit of a problem for us. Land another Smog. Please don't crit. Please don't crit. We haven't had a good start to this Nuzlocke so far. Yeah, okay, so we can get a Rattata. Not the best Pokemon, but, you know, might as well, you know. I mean, we don't have anything else available to us at this point in time because we lost our captures for these other two routes, but there we go. There's Rattata, and let's go ahead and think of a nickname for a Rattata. Alright, so I decided to go with the nickname Blister. It probably seems like a bit of a weird name, but last season of the Nuzlocke, or I don't know if you call it a season or not, but when we played Pokemon Silver, we had a Rattata named Scabbers. I decided that, you know, Scabbers, Scab, you know, and Blister is also, you know, a type of injury, so I was like, you know, Blister, and also you could think of it as in, you know, Rattata is a fairly fast kind of Pokemon. Maybe not actually in game, but it is a Pokemon that seems like it'd be fast, and you could think of that, you know, like it's like blisteringly fast. That's a word, right? It didn't sound like a word when it came out of my mouth. But anyways, let's go ahead and put Blister in the front there, so we can go ahead and give him a shot, and hopefully he won't meet the same fate as our Rattata last Nuzlocke did. Alright, and that guy had a Pidove that pulled out Hypnosis on me, which was not something I expected. A lot of Pokemon have new moves in this game. You know, certain moves that they wouldn't be able to normally learn, because I know Pidove can't normally learn Hypnosis. But it definitely is interesting, and it adds a bit of unpredictability to the game. And a lot of the reason I did decide to go with this hack is because I really wanted to play through, you know, the Gen 3 games again, but at the same time I wanted to make things a bit more fresh and different, and I feel like this hack definitely does do that, because normally at this point in the game you'd have stuff like, I don't know, like Wingles and Wurmples and probably like a Torchic or a Mudkip or a Trico, so it's nice to see a Houndour and a Rattata in Hoenn. Alrighty, and then there's going to be an item down here, I believe? I thought there was an item down here. Huh, that's weird. I'm not sure what the purpose of that ledge right there is then. Okay, so let's continue on. I really could have sworn there was an item down there. I don't know if that got removed in this hack. That would be kind of weird, but I guess it's a possibility. By the way, one other little nice detail about this hack is that you can actually run indoors. Normally you would not be able to do that in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, but that was an addition that was added. I think that officially was added in Gen 4, but the creator of this hack went ahead and allowed that in this game as well, so that's really nice. You're standing right here, so I feel like you have something important? No, maybe not. Your Torchic is Fire-type. What Torchic? Alright, so let's head on out. Our next destination is going to be the gym, where for the first time in a Pokemon game, we actually have a father who is the gym leader of this gym. But we're not going to be facing off against this gym just yet. That doesn't come until quite a bit later. I believe this is going to be the 5th gym. And I know in the default game it's actually a pretty difficult one. and I'm pretty sure I had some difficulty with it when I did my test run as well. I wouldn't even want to know what it's like in the actual harder version of this hack. It's got to be nuts. But anyways, so we're gonna help Wally catch a Pokemon here. And actually, I bet you he's not even gonna catch it because there's this funny little thing that happens when you hack a Ralts's early moves, because normally it only learns Growl. And in this encounter that Wally's about to have with a Ralts, it's supposed to use Growl against him, and therefore prevent a 2-hit knockout from his Zigzagoon. But if it has any other moves, it might use those instead, and therefore not lower Zigzagoon's attack and allow for the Ralts to get knocked out, which results in some funny dialogue as Wally says, "Oh yeah, I caught it," after he obviously just knocked it out, and it's about to happen right now too. This is great. Yep. Oh, and he got a critical hit too. I don't think that was really necessary, but yeah, he knocks out the Ralts, and you think that's the end of it, but no, somehow he has that Ralts after he knocked it out. Don't know how that works, but yeah, it's a funny little thing that happens, and just because, the game developers didn't think of the fact that, someone would hack the game to allow Ralts to have different moves. But anyways, so now we can continue on, and I do want to make sure we catch another Pokemon up ahead. We actually got a couple catches coming up here. There's a route coming up over to this way, and we're going to get an encounter from this guy. I think his name is Scott. Basically, this guy owns the Battle Frontier. Spoilers, or not really spoilers, because it doesn't really matter, but this guy is the owner of the Battle Frontier, which is a place you can go into the post-game and enter in battle competitions of various sorts, various variations of the Battle Tower type of thing. But we're not going to be doing that, of course, because, I don't know. I mean, we're just going to get through the Elite Four in the game and stuff like that. And our first encounter is a Burmy. A Burmy. I have never used a Burmy. I don't know if I've ever even caught a Burmy, to be honest. I know it's a grass type, and I think it evolves into a couple different types. But I don't know, I'm not that familiar with it. This should be interesting. I'm actually looking forward to trying this guy out. So let's go ahead and toss a Pokeball at it. I'm saving that Premier Ball for something special, because I feel like there's got to be some cool Pokemon out there, and so far, I mean, Burmy is definitely interesting, but I don't know if it's really something that would make it onto my final team, especially since it's a grass type, and we are thinking about bringing forward Brussel from the Pokemon Silver Nuzlocke, and apparently it has a kind of difficult catch rate, so that's a little bit irritating. Hopefully this doesn't take too many Pokeballs. I don't want to have another failed catch here. Oh, holy cow. What kind of catch rate does this thing have? Like, seriously, and we don't really have anything else we can hit it with. Because we already did Tackle, didn't we? Yeah. Unless Tackle has... I think Tackle has been up to 50 power, like it is in Gen 5 and beyond. In that case, Quick Attack will actually do slightly less. So let's go for a Quick Attack. This might be a mistake. Okay, good. Okay, good. Alright, now let's go for the Pokeball. See if that helps any. I don't know if the difference between red and yellow health is really that significant when it comes to catching Pokemon. There we go. Alrighty, sweet. So now I have to think about a nickname for a Burmy. That's an interesting one. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, so this one I had a bit of a hard time with. Burmy is actually based on the Bagworm. And I don't know, I just couldn't come up with a good idea for a nickname. I was trying to, Google around like I usually do for nicknames for a certain Pokemon, and I wasn't really finding anything that really suited it. So I ended up going with Sasha, for no particular reason. I guess I kind of was thinking, okay, so it's based off the Bagworm. What can I think of related to bags or worms? And I thought of, bag, sack, and then, I don't know, you kind of stretch it from sack to Sasha. I don't know, I mean, I was having a hard time with it, so I just kind of came up with something. So we do want to, let's bring Sasha out front and get her a little bit of use. I do definitely want to try her out and see how well she can do. Alrighty, right now Sasha just has Tackle and Protect, so she's not really that useful. There is an interesting little thing that I didn't know about Burmy, but it actually changes its form based on where you last battled with it. And since the last area we battled with it, was on the beach, and since it was like kind of like a sandy background, it turned into its sandy form. And what it ended up evolving into actually depends on what form it's in when it evolves. Oh man, that was close. We went up against a Finneon, which normally wouldn't be that challenging. But we can't send in Cerberus against it because Cerberus is weak to water. And it was doing a lot of damage with water guns, so I just kind of had to stall it out. I'm glad it has as many potions as I did because that was almost a disaster. But anyways, I was talking about Burmy a little bit, and its evolution is based on whether it's male or female. If it's male, it evolves into Mothim, which is just your generic bug and flying type Pokemon. If it's female, though, it evolves into a different Pokemon, or a different form of Pokemon depending on where you last battled with it. I think if I'm understanding this right, either that or it might just retain the way that it changes form based on where you last battled with it. But it's definitely really interesting. We should probably heal up Blister again real quick. It's definitely really interesting, and I'm glad I got a female one, because we can definitely try out the interesting evolution method. I think it evolves at level 20, I want to say. But yeah, we get a different type Pokemon depending on what form it's in when it evolves. Alright, and I ran back and healed after that battle, because we were getting a little bit low on health and such, and we do have a bit of a forest ahead of us to get through. Although we are going to be facing off against a lot of bug and grass types in here, so those are definitely Cerberus' specialty. And we should be able to encounter something in this grass over here too, hopefully something interesting. Does this guy have anything to give us? No, he's just telling us that there is stuff on the ground where you can't see it. We can run down this way, and I think there's an item down here. Maybe not. That's really weird. I know for a fact there was like a Pokeball on the ground over here in the default game. That's really weird that those things got removed. I wonder if that's why we have so much more money to compensate for the fact that they removed items on the ground? That's really weird. Anyways, we got Shroomish here. Shroomish is a pretty cool Pokemon. By the way, I misspoke earlier and called Sasha a grass type, but she's actually a bug type. She can evolve into a grass type, but she is by default a bug type. So yeah, Shroomish is an interesting Pokemon. I've definitely used Shroomish before in playthroughs, not in Nuzlocke, but it's definitely a really cool Pokemon. It will learn Spore if you level it all the way up to like level 50 something without evolving it, but in a Nuzlocke that's going to be almost impossible because it would probably die before then. So we probably will have to go without Spore, even though Spore would be very, very nice. But yeah, I've used Braylon before, and I've used it on competitive teams when I used to play a little bit of competitive back in Gen 5. And it's definitely a really good Pokemon. I really do love it. And I actually do already have a nickname in mind for it. Oh, by the way, we do get experience for catching Pokemon too, just like in Gen 6. I think that's when that was introduced, so that's a nice thing. So anyways, this Shroomish we just caught will definitely be a member of our team, at least for a little while, although we will have some we will have some type overlap when we get Brussel if we do end up bringing her forward. And we're naming the Shroomish Masham, which probably seems like kind of a weird name, and it kind of is. But I had a Breloom named Masham in one of my first playthroughs of Pokemon Emerald, so I felt like I wanted to reuse that nickname. Alright, and continuing on... This is another place I could have sworn there was an item. I don't know, this is really weird. I guess I'll stop talking about it now because I keep bringing it up over and over again. Heading up this way, we see a guy who seems to be lost. He's asking if we've seen any Shroomish. Actually, yes we do. We have a Shroomish. I wonder... there's probably not. I was wondering if there's any different dialogue he gives you if you actually have one. But anyways, this is Team Aqua. They're a bad team who basically wants to flood the world, which is kind of dumb, but hey, what the hey? It's an evil team in a Pokemon game, and what do you expect in terms of motivations? But anyways, he's going to pull out a Poochyena, and I think he has a Carvanha at this point as well. Poochyena we want to bring out Cerberus against, but then he's going to bring out a Carvanha, I think, and we are going to have to find something else to deal with that. Poochyena should not be much of a threat, however. And Carvanha is also part Dark type, so we can't even leave in Cerberus. We can't even, get up a whole bunch of Howls and use that to take down the Carvanha because our bite attack will be resisted. So, yep, here it comes. In the default game, he just has a Poochyena, probably to avoid having any difficulties with types and all that. But yeah, let's bring out Blister. and see if we can knock it out. I don't think Carvon has very good defense. Let's go for a Focus Energy. Yeah, Focus Energy, try and get a crit, because Focus Energy will raise your chance to get a critical hit. So let's see if we can get a crit and knock it out in one hit. Close! Close! And this could go for a Focus Energy, which doesn't matter because now we can go for a quick attack and just finish it off. So yeah, that wasn't too difficult. I do think some of the evil team battles, especially the team bosses, are actually a little bit more difficult than they are in the default game, but we will see those when we get to them. So yeah, there we go, Team Aqua Grunt down. We're probably going to finish getting through the forest in this episode. And then next episode, we will head on up to Rustboro City and take on the gym. So I think we have, you know, like 1 or 2 more trainers in this area. And this guy's going to give us a Great Ball. This guy is actually kind of a recurring character, but I don't think he ever gets a name. But he does pop up every so often in the game, so I guess we can give him a name. We will call him... We'll call him Jimmy, because that's the first name that popped in my head. So that's Jimmy. Jimmy, we will be seeing him again. I'm going to go ahead and switch my team up a little bit. I want to give Masham a little bit of experience. Sasha still hasn't learned any new moves yet, so that's kind of unfortunate. Oh, we have an item on Masham. I wonder what that is. A tiny mushroom. I guess that makes sense. And I really love the variety of Pokemon that, you know, having like 721 Pokemon, I think, if you count all of them up through Generation 6. I just love the amount of variety in trainers' rosters. By the way, there was an item on the ground right there, so it's kind of weird that we didn't see the ones that were back that way. Maybe they really aren't there. I don't know. I might be completely losing it. So this guy's going to give us a TM, which I believe is just going to be the Bullet Seed TM, which might be kind of useful, I guess. It is reusable, so I guess we don't have to worry too much if we give it to somebody and end up not really needing it. So let's pick a couple berries real quick, and then... is this a new route? Let me pick this last berry over here and then check my map. Because I feel like maybe this counts as a new route, but maybe this is a continuation of the route before the forest. Let's see. Do we have any way of checking right now? We don't have a map, do we? Are there any signs around we can look at? Let's avoid that trainer for now. Nope, this is a trainer tip sign. Because we did catch Burmy down on that route down there, and for some reason I feel like this is the same route technically. I guess I'll have to check up on that between episodes. For now, we just want to go ahead and get the Whalmer Pail from one of the people in this shop. And I think somebody also gives you a couple of berries for free, so that's nice. I don't know how much we're going to be doing planting berries. I guess orange berries are kind of nice for healing up in a pinch. You can also get citrus berries, which heal a little bit more. But I don't know if we're really going to bother planting a bunch of berries or anything like that. They're mostly useful for contests, and I don't think there's really a need to do contests. I might do one just for the heck of it. But anyway, so that's going to end off this episode. I don't want to go too long here, because I know we've done quite a bit. We came all the way up here from Little Root Town. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Don't forget to, by the way, don't forget to weigh in on whether or not you'd like to see Brestle make a return in this series. I'll probably have her come back right about when we hit about level 20, because I think that's when she evolved. That way we're not going to have a level 5 Weepinbell or something like that, you know, wrecking everything. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.